Oh. Oh wait, I'm doing myself a coffee. Coffee. Buddy. And then we'll get on with the... What really gets my goat, and I mean what really gets my goat is, you know, it's a hypocrites. You know, I'm blocking a few other people as well today. You know, that's one of the things I will be doing. As well, you know, because they seem to be playing both sides of the fence, or they don't realise, you know, how much trouble they ought to be in for doing what they've been doing to individuals up and down this country. Including yours truly. I became aware of somebody wanting to come round and, I don't know, what was it, slaughter me with a machete, with a balaclava on the night before last. And if you think I'm calm, yeah, I am calm, you know. A, he hasn't got the balls, yeah, and B, it was rather stupid. And he, you know, I mean, I doubt if he'll get nicked because it's him, isn't it? It's them. They seem to be. They seem to be coated in Teflon. Those lot. But then nobody, you know. I've also had a, you know, threatening inbox from Wayne Ritchie. I haven't phoned the police yet, but I'm about to phone the police on Ritchie. That's what the message was it? Yeah, so I just got that. Right, yeah, where is that? I'll just get to that message in a moment. Right, and this is what it reads. The reason I'm quiet is because you are an effing boring. You are effing boring. I will deal with you once this lockdown is over. So hang tight, MF. Yeah, I'm not done with you, not by a long shot, really. Yeah, you went looking for trouble? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I did not go looking for trouble. Yeah, I did not go looking to trouble. You lot started picking on me in that torture chamber. That's it. Yeah, if I wasn't made aware of that torture chamber, none of this would be going on now. You went looking for trouble. Yeah, and you found it. I found it. Oh, I'm scared. I'm so bloody scared of you. You know what I mean? You don't know scared, mate. You don't know scared. I hope you're prepared for what's coming at TikTok. So there's another threat to my door. Again, by these individuals. But they seem to be made of Teflon. They seem, you know, it's all right. So he's threatened a few people. Yeah, there are 2 women this week, and then what date was that actually? Oh, that was the 17th of May. So I literally haven't been on this account, you know, quite a while. So, you know, and watch out for that Rachel Doughty as well. He said, oh, I'm not interested in the hunting stuff. Yeah, I had an inbox from her, right? I'm not interested, but I am interested in your cooking. Now she is on Laura Cooper's Live. It's like, hang on a minute. You're interested in my sources, but you're not interested in that lot, you know, and what their, you know, their actions in abusing other people's children and families, you know. But she was interested in my sources and in my bologneses and, you know, my chicken. Anyway, I blocked her off ages ago, but she is commenting on that, and I've just got to make sure I'm secure from that thing as well. You know. So I'm blocking her off. I'm going to watch the news in a moment. So I haven't watched it for a few days, to my shame. I'm going to go and do that in a moment. I'm remarkably alright for somebody who's just been threatened for, you know, with a machete attack. And like I've already stated, I'm not scared. I've dealt with them before. I've dealt with one before. And 2 knives. Oh fuck, I forgot the axe. Yeah, that was when I was a kid there. Anyway, you know, so she's bleating, you know, that she's an innocent party and all of this and that and the other. But, you know, those abusive phone calls, and they're trying to call me off that, you know, off that calling thing. They're all sort of kept on trying to ring me, and she was a part of that group that was trying to control me. So don't sort of like sit there like butter wouldn't melt in your mouth, Miss Cooper. It doesn't, you know it doesn't. You know, I mean, if you want to go around associating yourself with people that talk about raping children, then that's your funeral. You know, or the rape of other people's children. That is your, if that's your raison d'etre, yeah, you know, it's rather alarming, you know, but I'd suggest, you know, that you lot sort of like seek help for what you're actually talking about in that chamber, because you need psychological help. You need severe psychological help. If you haven't reported any of that to the police, and that you're, you know, or any of this activity over the past 3 years, you are as sick as the rest of them. And anybody that's involved in that little clique, yeah, they're all sick. They're all sick. Oh, well, no, they've already called a truce with one. Yeah, and I'm blocking that individual very, very soon. And she no longer is, you know, when they turn on her again, which they will, and she comes bleating to us, then I'll tell you who it is. But when she comes bleating to us, you know what? It's like, no, you're on your own. You're on your own. You know, capitulating to bullies for a quiet life, even although they're abusing, and, you know, even after all the things that they've said about this person as well. You know, and she's just willing to let it go for a peaceful life. Because that's what they want, you see. They want to do it, and then they want to get away with it, yeah? And they know they've gone too far. So that one's going to be blocked and deleted, never to be spoken to again. I'm absolutely disgusted with you, madam. Absolutely flummoxed at that decision. But like I said, they will turn on you again, and you won't have any of our support. You're just going to have to deal with it by yourself, all right? So, you know, that's entirely up to you. That's entirely up to you. It's your life. You do what you want with it. You know, but if you're going to compromise the bullies, then to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't got time for you. I haven't got time for you at all. These people are picking on innocent children. And they're picking on us. They're being racist. They're being sexist. They're being abusive, threatening. They talk about the sexual abuse of children like it's a fucking running joke. Oh yeah, I'm all right. I'm more than all right in myself. She said, "Oh, I was looking psychotic." You haven't seen me looking psychotic. If you ever saw me looking psychotic, you would run. You'd all run. And that isn't me that's saying that. That's other people that have seen me. Yeah? Flip. It's sort of like I turn into something else. I don't know. I can't remember it half the fucking time. So, as far as fear's going, I ain't afraid of you. I don't feel it's necessary for me to have to defend myself on my own, on my own property, because I'm certainly not going to come to any of yours. Central Coventry's beautiful. I think it's really pretty, but the outskirts, nah, no thanks. No, it's funny because I've learnt a really important lesson in Coventry. A realisation in the Leah Frick Hotel. There was a turning point. I had my turning point in Coventry, actually. One of my turning points. So, the city and the city centre itself is, holds a lot of regard for me, but as do people from the West Midlands generally. They're really quite friendly people. But unfortunately, we seem to have dug up a few disgusting individuals within that flock. Well, we all know there's, population. Of course, there's going to be disgusting individuals in any city. But they've gone on far too long, and you've hurt so many people. So many people. Some of these scars won't go away. You've scarred them for life. I hope you know that. I hope that sticks on your conscience, the loss of you. But then, like we were discussing earlier, you're not going to be happy until, you kill somebody else. What all the indicators are pointing at are too, that you have already. And I believe you have. Which is why I've reported it as such. But I won't face any charges. I know that. And I doubt if you will either. I'll be perfectly frank with you, because the police are useless. So, which is another thing I told those officers yesterday. I told them that I've gone from totally respecting the police to absolutely abhorring them, hating them. Funny, isn't it? Used to wear the uniform, now I hate them. And it's taken me 3 months. get from point A to point B. So yeah, I don't know. Well, no, this is what I mean. You know, and when you're involved in, like I said, if you've got minors in your house and you've got custody of minors in your house and you're indulging in chat like that, then I'm ever so sorry. And social, I'm not saying the kids ought to be taken away, don't get me wrong, but I really think that you know, and if they deem it fit for them to be taken away or for you to get re-educated about your behaviour, then I think you ought to take it. But if you can't change the company you keep, the sick company that you keep, and the trolls that you keep in your company, then I'm afraid, I think the child ought to be placed with an appropriate adult. No, this is what I mean. It's association more than anything else. Even just by associating with it, you're guilty of it. If you're supporting it and if you haven't gone to the police about it, you're a part of it. If you're a part of it, you're guilty under joint enterprise with every single one of them. Joint enterprise, you see. It's a wonderful thing, joint enterprise. It just means that you get done for whatever, you know, as a group, rather than just individually, you know. So that means everything that Wesley said, yeah, you're culpable for. Everything that Wayne said, you're all culpable for. Everything that Ashley said, you're all culpable of. Everything Pickford said, you're culpable. Everything that Danny Snow and Nick Ken has done, you're culpable. Yeah? But you see, the thing is, you do not have a bloody clue about the law. And the law of joint enterprise. So you've been swimming around in these chats for the last God knows how long, being associated with these behaviours, being a member, yeah, that has caused people to self-harm, attempt suicide, or you've tried to drive them round the bend. You're not going to drive me round the bend, I'll guarantee you that. So I don't know why, I always manage to sort of like get something out of the fire, like, you know what I mean, pull it out of the fire, even when it all looks lost. Got an awful habit of doing that, a good habit of doing that. So yeah, you know, everything that Ian Elkins has said, you're culpable for. Every, you know, Frankie Decoy Hunter, or his other name, Vincent Badger Price. Yeah, you're culpable for everything he said and done. All of you, all of you, all of you. So everybody that's cut themselves, you've been an agent in get them cutting themselves. Everybody that's tried to take an overdose or do something to themselves, you are culpable of it. And then you turn around and you're saying you're doing this for the interests of humanity. This is a hypocritical thing. Silence doesn't speak more. Oh, silence does speak more when you're not saying anything about the abuse that's being, yeah. The silence actually screams, doesn't it, in that case? Their silence, they're compliant, they're complicit with their behaviours, or the behaviours of the group. And that group has attained the pack mentality. And once you gain a pack mentality, you start assimilating yourself into the pack. You start thinking like the pack, acting like the pack, being like the pack. Because you know if you're not a member of that pack, you could be on the list next. So whilst you've been abusing rape victims, child sexual abuse victims, domestic violence victims, being racist, misogynistic, or misanthropic, dependent on sex, of course, but they wouldn't know that. They don't know long words. Especially with Ashley. Next thing you'll know, once he's booted off of Facebook and after he's served his prison sentence, I'm sure he will at some point, for doing what he's done. And I think when he gets out, I think he'll be placing an advert in the Lonely Hearts column, for a companion to his one brain cell. That Mulhern's obviously got the brain of a, the brain of a what? I don't know. But that is fundamentally one of the most stupid actions I've ever seen in my life. Actually waving a machete around on a live. I mean, what the hell was the man thinking? You've got to ask yourself that. What the hell was the man thinking? How to fail miserably and repel people. The only time when you'll ever see me holding a knife is whilst I'm cooking. I might be pointing at things with the knife, but I'm not waving it around. Counting, I don't know how many visits Joe's had, but I know she's had one. She's had social services visits. She's had police visits. She's had police visits. One armed police raid. And so that's 12 of Pete's, however many Joanne's got. Then you've got if you count for the times when I've called them out. So, my 5 bullshit visits, plus my 1 bullshit interview. And then, obviously, the other one was just down to a base idiot getting everything wrong. The one that reckons he's getting training to be a solicitor, but doesn't know Latin. Which is sort of like, you would have to, wouldn't you? I don't know, I haven't even gone into study law, but there are caveats and, things like that, and, Caveat, that's another one, just in case you didn't know. That's caught 50, he's only been doing it for a year. Caught over 50, he's only been doing it for a year. I'd love to see how long those catalogues are, though. But he's a legend, because he's caught 50. That's what he tried to rub in my face as well. I've caught 50 over the last year, so like so. I've caught 23 and I've got them on good track logs. See ya. Yeah, so but that's the lesson of it all. When you're doing something properly, it takes a long time. If you're rushing it and trying to get things out, like, you know, like feeding a bloody machine gun, you're gonna, you know. Yeah, they are sycophantic. Sycophants. They're narcissists. They're bullies. And I really do suspect that one of them has got unnatural feeling towards minors, considering he talks about it all the time. And that's concerning me too. Now, I could have been like the rest of the hunting community that knew about it, and I could have just walked on by and ignored it, said nothing. They'd have carried on trolling me anyway, but I, you know, could have said nothing and just let it all blow over and told them off and all that lot. But you know what? When you're seeing kids being brought into, other people's kids being brought into play, then you got to think to yourself, yeah, why am I decoying? If it isn't to protect real children. Now, obviously, my decoy is a figment of my imagination, so I'm stinging on a figment of my imagination at the end of the day. Shin pads? I don't need bloody shin pads. I don't need anything. I've got my bare hands. You know, you don't go around walking around streets in a policeman's uniform when you're 19, yeah, without having some modicum of an idea on how to defend yourself. Fucking idiots. So as you can see, you know, I made the report. They're still walking free. You know, even something with that much gravity, they're still walking about, getting away with it. So they're not going to do anything. You know, because that should have been dealt with now. So obviously, they can't be asked that either. You know, so again, it's just, you know, that same old story. They'll listen to any old crap that comes out of their mouths as a collective, but you're the one that's screaming out here by, or we are the ones screaming out here in the wilderness by ourselves, saying, look, do you know what's going on? But because they're outnumbering us individually, the police are taking their side all the fucking time. You know, that's why they don't get picked up. They've got it all worked out. No, my empathy can turn to zero. But usually I'm it's always there, you know, but it can, I can become absolutely bereft of it and have no mercy. And that frightens me. No, it really does frighten me. It's one of the aspects of my character that does frighten the hell out of me. I know what I've done before. That's the thing. Luckily not on UK sovereign territory. Yeah, obviously, like I said, I don't want them turning up at my door. I want, you know, I want a peaceful life just like everybody else. You know, and well, I mean, and they're refusing to let me have a peaceful life, and they're refusing these other people to have a peaceful life also. So, you know, there's not a lot of wiggle room that you've actually got. Because they're not going to leave me alone. They're not going to leave them alone. I'm not going to drop this now, not after they've put me through all this shit. I know they're not. But, yeah, like I said, I've got to phone the police up again in a moment. And just explain to them about this message that I've received from Richie. I have screenshotted it as well, so, you know, him and his legal representative. Like I told him over the phone, like I told that Richie over the phone in front of those police officers, that's exactly what I'll do to you. In fact, it was one of those officers that turned up, you know, and I repeated the same phrase again. Yeah, you know, the one that I called out. Yeah. I'm not going to repeat that word. Because obviously I'm not going to get a ban. This time I'm not going to get a ban. Well, I've cut most of the garden and it started to spit, and I've got electrical. Obviously, it's running off electric out there. The thing's really good, actually. I've just got, you know, it's going to rain tomorrow. I'm going to, you know, I've raked up quite a bit of it. And I'm going to have to go to the roundhouse at the back and ask them to patch up my fence. Oh, their fence. Because I've got their brambles growing through my fence, and I don't want their brambles growing through my fence, because I want their brambles on their side, not on, you know, not growing down through the ground and up through my side. Thank you very much, chaps. So I want that dealt with. And because obviously it's a public area out the back there, people do congregate and da 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 da. And the last thing I want is, you know, especially when I get these fences up, is people walking past and being able to look into my garden. You know, there's parts of that fence that are going rotten anyway. I caught a bit of it with my strimmer, and the wood just went. There, I thought, oh yeah, that fence is rotten, isn't it? So yeah, I'd like them to at least tender the border. If they're not going to do it along the whole lot, then at least do it by my bit, and be a good neighbour, instead of just letting it all go, you know, pile up through, you know, go underneath and pile up through mine with bloody brambles. I do not want that, you know. And next door, they've already popped through next door and they're not tackling them. You know, I've got to tackle a few down there. And probably put a load of root killer down as well. So yeah, anyway, I think we're all good. We're all good. I'm going to make that, I'm going to watch the news first, then I'm going to call the police. So then they can get a screenshot of this as well. Because I want to prove to the police that these people have been threatening me for so long. You know, like I've explained to the police, I haven't done anything about this trolling for 3 years. I've ignored it all, not called the police once. In fact, I've never reported a profile, believe it or not. Because I'm not petty-minded and simple. Yeah, you lot have already buried yourselves and you don't really know it yet. You're not really conscious of the fact. But, you know, your behaviour has just been, I don't know. You wouldn't see, you know, just say, you know, teenagers get bullied. You wouldn't. You know, I don't think they'd even get that bad. Or, you know, is it equally as bad anyway? The way that they target and, you know, terrorise people, for want of a better phrase. I mean, you know, if you're waving a machete back about, saying that you're going to slaughter me, then I'm ever so sorry, you know. Yeah, that's trying to create terror, isn't it? Pity it didn't work. The only thing that I'm concerned about is obviously you turning up and it all going wrong for you. Because then obviously it's troubles at my door, the police again. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with the charge I'll be facing either. I seriously don't. So I would suggest you stay away. It's not a healthy area to enter if you're not welcome. And you certainly aren't welcome, any of you. So, you know. You know, like I've always stated, I'm never going to come round to any of your houses. I've stated that all along. All along. Yet you say I've been threatening you. There we go. If it suits our storyline to sort of just go out and say all this nonsense about people, then it suits that. Yeah, it suits their agenda. And, you know, that agenda's about to get, you know, become so unstuck if the police act. But like again, you know, 24 hours after the police have, and I've reported it, no action's been taken. But it's funny, isn't it, how they come rushing around to my place to take my devices off some dumb idiot, thinking that I had a beauty. Then he calls himself a decoy. I call him a dickhead myself, personally. So that's exactly what he is. I hope karma comes and bites that one on the backside as well. Perhaps he might end up, you know, stinging the wrong bloke and getting himself into trouble. Who knows? Something will go wrong for the lad. Mr. Solicitor. Oni Swaki Mali Pons. Shame on him who thinks evil. It's on your coins, but you probably didn't know the meaning of it. I mean, Latin's all around us. Let's just take a look at a £1 coin. You know? So here we have a 2016 pound coin, Elizabeth II. I think it's DM Gracias, DD DM yeah, and for death is there is it? No. Why isn't, yeah, it's for death. Is fidelity, hang on, what does that? What does the abbreviation mean? I can't bloody remember. Fide Defensa Inde Imperator, which means defender of the faith, yeah. Yeah, I knew I'd get there in the end. Brain fart. Yeah, but that's, yeah, it's on there. And then on other ones, I think I've got any notes on me. Or on the Welsh coin at least. I know all the pound coins. Here we go. New 10p piece. Fide Defensor Inde Imperator. Yeah, okay. Oh, I couldn't remember that. So I knew it. I don't know what I'm having for supper, darling. I'm not really that hungry. I had that. I had 2 sausages, 1.5 eggs, including the 2 yolks, 1 piece of bacon, a couple of mushrooms, and that was it. Good job I didn't go for the chips, eh? So I don't know what I'm going to have actually. I'll just probably, I've got some chicken, southern fried chicken steaks in there. I'm just going to put a couple of those in. Can't be bothered to make chips, and I'm just going to chill out. I'll just do a couple of those and just pick at them all night. You know, because it's like, you know, a day like yesterday, for example, you know, I've got this playing on my mind, so it's sort of like as if my appetite cuts out. It doesn't, you know, I'm so focused on what I'm supposed to be doing that I just clean forget to eat. which is a bit mental of me really, but there we go. No, you'll see it on the Royal Standard on these Swatchy Mallee pants. I've got to get into Latin again. I'm going to use that Duolingo. I've got a slight understanding of it, but once you get that, you get Italian, you get a lot of the European. Yeah, well, I mean, it's you know, I'm having until Sunday off with the alcohol. I'm now first focusing on a bit of a bumpy journey. Not because I'm craving alcohol, because I'm not. And I've got the money to go and get some too, and it's like, nah. But my friend, he's coming up on Saturday. I can't wait to see him. I haven't seen him for a few years. An old school mate of mine, an old Sea Cadet mate of mine. And he is funny. He is funny. That's the main thing. And then when all of this is done and dusted, once I've got all my devices back, and then once I've got to the bottom of what the police have actually done over these last 12 weeks since I reported this issue, I'm going to get a Freedom of Information Act, and I want to find out what's happened to my phones, whether they've looked into Torture Chamber 2 when I've been told they're looking into Torture Chamber 2 weeks ago. In fact, the Sunday that Lukey come down, Lukey assured me that they were looking into it, and then I had the police officer assuring me that she was looking into it, and then I've made that phone call yesterday, and it doesn't appear that they have been looking into anything. Isn't that strange? Oh, mate, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that, I've been really quiet. I mean, I really have been. I've just been being quiet, keeping my head down, decoying. You know, that's all I've been doing. I've been ignoring all the nonsense, all the shit, all the drama. I don't have much time for that community. I'm not a member of that community. I wouldn't associate myself with that community anymore. I don't want anything to do with it. I'll carry on doing what I'm doing, but I don't want anything to do with the community as such. So I won't be sharing any stings anymore. Yeah, or doing anything like that. You know? So that isn't anything against, there are certain people I get on with very well, but generally, I think the old place needs mucking out and reorganising, because it's like the Wild West. It's just opportunism, one-upmanship, some sort of weird competition on how, who stung more than who, such and such, and it's like, yeah, all right. And I ain't going to be a part of that. Yeah, Went to sea cadets with him, and he's very, very good as a welder, and he can make out of the old gas bottles a Darth Vader type wood burner, and he can make wood burners and things like that. Wire brush and Dettol, yeah. No, he takes me as I mean, you know, the place is fine, but you know, he takes me as he finds me, and me the same. You know, he was living in his workshop for 2 years, 2 or 3 years. But he's settled, and yeah, you know, it's nice to see. And it is drizzling out there. I got out of there just in time. I got all the electrics in and everything else, so I'm happy with that. I felt it was going to rain, and it did. I felt a couple spots, but that was just a couple spots. I thought, you know, better be safe than sorry, and drag it all in. I haven't quite done. I've got a little patch at the top bit, and I've got the bottom sort of like bit where where I have the barbecue bits at, and then for the next door neighbour, I'm going to do all that down there. He goes, "Oh, I'll give you some money for that." I said, "No, you fucking," you know. Like I said, I ain't no bloody mercenary. Which is why I only had one complaint out of 400,000 doors. Oh yeah, wire brush, yeah, wire brush for the community, Heidi. You know? Yeah, there's some bloody good hunters out there. A lot of them I admire, but you know, I can't be lumped in with the people that are behaving like this as well. I mean, you know, not, you know, I'm talking, you know, to be associated with the decent people, then yeah, that's fair enough. But to be associated with this thing that's evolved, the poisonous side of it, I can't validate that behaviour. I won't validate the behaviours that have been going on. I think they're just nothing but disgusting. As for one of these individuals, like I said, I'm blocking her in a minute. She signed a deal with the devil. Yeah, which will be rescinded, and then they'll start on you all over again. And then when you come bleating to us saying, "Oh yeah, you know," I'll only have 2 words to say to you. All right, so I'm going to be blocking you in a moment. All right, so I'll catch you soon. No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I want to pull myself out of that bloody cesspit. You know, that means work by myself, operate by myself. I've got my own security here if I ever need it. You know, and yeah, you know, I can just trot along being happy by myself. You know, I don't need. And to be honest with you, let's be fair. I've not needed one of them, have I? All the way through this, I've not needed one of them. You know, I've obviously a couple of times to check through chat logs, yeah, but then I should have known that they had been all right anyway. But you know, double check. I don't have to double check anymore. That's one thing, and I don't need anybody's help to sting either. So I mean, that basically rules out any other team coming in to assist, doesn't it? Well, yeah, it is the best way, because then I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm at. I'm not running around after decoys. I'm not running around after this, that, and the other. Yeah. Worrying about whether a decoy makes a mistake or a tracker that makes a mistake or anything like that. You know what I mean? That just removes all the risk. And if I'm gonna make the mistake, it'll be down to me and me alone. You know? And if I ever do make a mistake, that'll be the last thing I ever do. So I wouldn't be able to sort of like cope with ever naming somebody that wasn't a paedophile. That would weigh heavily on my conscience, and I'm surprised it hasn't weighed heavily on others when they've gone out and done the same thing to others. I mean, some have even carried through. Oh yeah, you know, like that. You know, that that interview with LBC. Yeah. And, you know, Cooper was asked, well, what if you get the wrong person? He goes, well, that's something that I've just got to deal with, really, isn't it? It's like, not, well, if we do that and we make a mistake, you know, it's like, oh no, you know, just a flip it, oh no, well, we would have to deal with it. That is probably the worst interview that I've ever seen in my bloody life. And she come out thinking she did well, apparently. I've listened to the interview. I've listened to how rude you were to the presenter. He was asking you perfectly legitimate questions, and you just put your hackles up, going, no. That aggravating Cockney whine you've got. Well, if I make a mistake and get the wrong person, I'll have to deal with it. What about the poor sod you've just, like, lit up? How's he going to deal with it? What about me being lit up as one? Yeah? Am I dealing with that very well? No, I don't want to leave the house a lot of the time, but I'm forcing myself to. No, yeah, you're right. In fact, could somebody send me that interview with LBC, please? Because I'd really like to play this for the benefit of everybody. Right, and I want you, right? Has anybody got the LBC interview that's around? And could you possibly send it into my Simon Pereira inbox, please? So I do know that I've got it here. Pete, do you have it? I know I've got it here somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Let's see if it's on YouTube. No, it ain't on that. I don't know. Here we are. Now, he's talking to a guy called Majid Nawaz. Very intelligent bloke. I do listen to him from time to time. Very good broadcaster. Asks the right questions. Right. I want you to judge this. Yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, this is chronic. Accept and takes on vigilante paedophile hunter over accountability. Now we've got to remember that word, accountability. All right, and I will share this to the timeline Now, oh no, I can't. I can't post or comment on this one for another few days. I don't think. Anyway, here we go.
So why'd you do it, Lulu? Why'd you do it?
To protect the children, to protect my children, to protect the children of the UK.
But this is the police's job, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're not doing it, are they? Like you said, they're understaffed, right? Yeah. I can't, like...
Do you have the requisite training to be able to engage in this kind of behaviour?
I can't remember if it's 2016 or 2017.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, it's tethering. Right, okay, let's just rewind this back to the beginning.
Yeah, but they're not doing it, are they? Like you said, they're understaffed, right? Yeah. I can't, like...
Do you have the requisite training to be able to engage in this kind of behaviour?
I can't remember if it's 2016 or 2017.
Right, let's pause these questions. Let's pause these questions, yeah? One of the questions, do you have the requisite training? Do you? No. Do I? No. Have I, you know, I mean, I haven't been taught how to decoy, I've taught myself. Have you got the requisite, you know, have you got the training? You don't, sorry, neither do I. That's just a fact of life. Come on, play, please. Oh, hang on. That's because it's not tethered, is it? Ha 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 ha. Hang on, I've just got to pause this a second, alright? I'm just going to stick the tether. Start at the beginning, okay? So we've gone through the requisite training. Yeah, we've already established that none of us really have anybody or any requisite training. Any requisite training whatsoever. So how you could actually claim to be a trained paedophile hunter? No, you can't be. You can't even be a trained decoy. You either know how to decoy or you don't, because it's a common sense thing. You know, you can teach people how to communicate, but yeah, you can't tell them how to. It's something you can't teach anyway. Because then it comes to structure. If you can't fly along by the seat of your pants and think on your feet without actually having to sit down in a classroom and be told what to do, then I'm ever so sorry you're not cut out for decoying. So all these training courses that people have been going on, I totally disagree with them. Anyway, it's 8 minutes 19 long. Let's listen to what a pig's ear she made out of this, shall we?
UK.
But this is the police's job, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're not doing it, are they? Like you said, they're understaffed, right? Yeah. I can't, like...
Do you have the requisite training to be able to engage in this kind of behaviour?
I can't remember if it's 2016 or 2017.
Oh, for the love of Christ, why is that not? It should be. Let's just pause it there a minute. Whoops. Let's start this again. Let's load it up. We're loaded up, aren't we? Yeah, okey-doke then. Right.
So why'd you do it, Lulu? Why'd you do it?
To protect the children, to protect my children, to protect the children of the UK.
But this is the police's job, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're not doing it, are they? Like you said, they're understaffed, right? I can't, like...
It's not going to do till now it's loading up.
In this kind of behaviour?
I can't remember if it's 2016 or 2017, but 44% of the prosecuted online grooming cases were brought and the evidence used by paedophiles.
That's right, it was 2016, but the same, I mentioned that at the top of the show, but the same police who use 44% of their convictions, use the evidence that people like you have brought to them, have been the same.
1 second, it's going to pause.
That they've got to start clamping down on people.
I've just got to shut down a few apps on here a second.
Because you're also at risk of ruining the future of their law enforcement.
Why are we at risk of ruining the future of law enforcement?
Are you trained? This is why. Are you trained with procedure in terms of the law and procedural evidence?
Trained by the police, do I?
Hold on, Lulu. Wait to hear my question before you respond to it. Are you trained in procedural evidence gathering processes?
I'm trained by.
She isn't. I am.
I've not been trained by the police, no.
Right.
But then I don't need to be.
You don't think you need to be when you're entering into dangerous situations with people with dangerous inclinations?
If their evidence was that bad, right, would the percentage be 44%? Because that's nearly half the convictions. In 2016, were brought. The evidence used was by paedophiles.
She actually had to point out that 44% is nearly half. I mean, that's just filling in guff, isn't it? That's just filling out, that's that's trying to guess the gaseous quantity of a gut wrenching fart. That is, anyway.
Yeah, but you see, Lulu, the problem there is that in 2016 the numbers weren't as large as they are now, and they're continuing to grow. What happens is when you hold on a minute, Lulu. Less righteousness, please. Just hear the question and respond to it. When you start a precedent, when you do something, it always, in every single case, it starts okay, which is why principles matter. Because if your principles are wrong, then even if you're doing it okay because you're a nice person, the minute you open the door to that being allowed, you will end up with people eventually that are doing it in the wrong way. Now, there are 75 groups.
That's true.
Now copying behaviour like yours. How can you give me a personal guarantee that they're all going to be as sensible as you when taking the law into their own hands?
Or be as sensible as her. This is the one that's associated with chat where they're abusing other people's kids. Now, we mustn't forget, we must not leave go of that absolute fact, all right?
Right, first of all, I think it's about 118 groups.
So it's gone up even since then?
Oh, it's gone up even since then. But what I will say is, you're saying, how can I give you a personal guarantee? What about the police force? Every, I'm not going to say profession because being a paedophile hunter isn't a profession, but everything everyone does. The police, doctors, priests, actors, all have bad apples. They all have people that bring it down.
See, Lulu, what you've just done there, you have just completely downgraded what it means to go through training, education, get a professional qualification. Yes, you have. Police take years in training. Doctors and the others, the lawyers you mentioned, they've got years and years in education and training and vocational training, on the job, on the ground training, and there's transparency and accountability. Next question for you, Lulu, because you don't have those years of training. Next question for you. What, are you perfect?
No one's perfect.
So what happens to you if you make a mistake?
Well, if I make a mistake, I'll own up to it. I'll deal with it.
How do we know that, Lulu?
If I make a mistake, I'll own up to it. I'll deal with it. What about the poor sod you've lit up wrongly then? I think that's quite a baseless answer.
How do we know you're going to own up to it? What, we should just trust you?
What are you getting at? What do you mean?
What happens if you make a mistake? Who holds you to account?
Well, if I make a mistake, then obviously I'll get held to account by the police. No.
A mistake that the police aren't aware of, Lulu. What happens if you do something that I would deem as a mistake that we don't know of because you're not telling us?
Like, just for instance?
Anything. You're not perfect, are you?
No, I'm not. Just like you're not perfect.
That's right, which is why I'm not running around with a cape on thinking I'm the savior of the universe.
On the way around for cape.
Figuratively, Lulu, figuratively.
It's not figuratively, is it? They're not running around. A lot of them, right? Well, you mentioned about live stings, right? A lot of them now don't do live stings. A lot of them are working very.
Lulu, you didn't answer my question. Lulu, you admit you're not perfect. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm genuinely because you're a vigilante, right? And you don't describe yourself as that, but you are, Lulu. So the question is, you're not perfect. What happens to you?
I'm a vigilante.
Lulu, hold on. Hear the question. What happens to you if you make a mistake?
Well, then I'll deal with it.
You deal with it. There we.
That is just stunning ignorance.
So it's you're right for the last man that was on. It's your opinion that counts. If no one else's opinion matters, what you're saying counts because you don't believe it. That's it.
No, Lulu, that's not what.
That's coming across.
Well, let me explain to you what it is. It's about believing the principles that make this country so great, which is he's innocent until we prove him guilty. And so that's what it's about, right? Now, it's also about the rule of law. Now, we know that you're not perfect, and you've just said, if you make a mistake, I'm just going to have to deal with it. That's the problem with people like you, and the difference between people like you and the police, because if the police make a mistake, we know exactly what to do. We know exactly how to proceed. We know they're accountable to the public, to the politicians, to their system in place through not just a couple of years, but decades and centuries of that institution existing in a professional capacity. They've been trained. During the course of this conversation, you've admitted you're not trained. You've admitted that if you make a mistake, we'll just have to deal with it. And yet you've compared yourself to police, because when asked what happens if you make a mistake, you say, well, police have bad apples too. Well, no, you're not comparable to the police. They are a professional service. They're heroes. They're frontline first responders. And frankly, you don't even have half.
First line first responders, yeah, frontline first responders that she sends around wasting time, along with her cohorts and all that lot. You know what I mean? Yeah? I like this, man.
The experience they have, let alone coming close to the level of experience they have. Do you, Lulu?
Well, obviously they haven't got the experience either, else they'd be catching them, wouldn't they? But let me go back to something. Right, I said if I make a mistake, legal mistake, then I will answer to the police. I didn't say that I don't answer to anyone. And you saying about, no, I'm not perfect.
So we're just going to have to trust you to report yourself.
Training that they had. But let's go back to that, right? Let's go back to police, doctors, priests and all them other stuff.
She won't even report the chat, which was mentioning and the bullying, but she's not mentioned that to the police. And this is something else she hasn't told the police either, isn't it? It's, you know, one of her mistakes that she'd own up to.
You sound incredibly righteous, Lulu.
No, do you know what annoys me, right? These people, and I'm not a hunter, I've said that, right? These people are out there every day.
You sound incredibly righteous, Lulu, and that's worrying.
Listen, please, right? I know you've had your... and they've got God complex and all this stuff. These people go out every single day, right? Taking up their own time away from their families, time away from their friends, time away from their job. They spend their own money to go out and protect our children. Now, you saying about proven innocent till proven guilty. Yeah. But hunters won't go and sting someone unless they've got... Their evidence is watertight.
But Lulu, we're just expected to take your word at face value that you're doing things in the right way.
44%.
No, it doesn't, Lulu. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
The numbers of groups out there have gone up manifold since that statistic came out. So I was citing 75. You're now saying 118 groups exist doing this kind of work. Right. You're opening the floodgates to a whole bunch of people who, like you, who've admitted, hold on, Lulu, who, like you, have admitted that if mistakes are made, we, the public, are just going to have to deal with those mistakes being made. And you will report yourself to the police. We're expected to believe that because somehow you're an angel and you're only dealing with devils. What about the fact that, what if you become the devil? Who holds the to account? Who holds people like you to account for what you do in your actions? Should there be
people like me? People like me.
Groups set up as vigilantes to hold vigilante paedophile hunters to account.
You're not vigilantes. You can cause vigilantes all you want.
Okay, but what about that question? Should I set up a group to hold people like you to transparency?
You don't even know. Do you know what? If that's what you want to do and that makes you feel better, then you do it. Then by all means, if that's what you want to do, you do it. But it sounds to me you don't know what you're talking about. A lot of these groups...
Well, I know I don't, which is why I'm not running around trying to hunt paedophiles. I'm leaving it to the police. And if there is a problem with the police, clearly there is, then they need more funding to be able to do their jobs. I know I don't know what I'm doing, and I suggest nor do you, which is why I'm worried about people like you running around with God complexes.
You know? And she thought that that was a blazing success. She was rude. She interrupted. She never answered any of the questions with any straight. Yeah? He verbally ran her over. You know, what if you make a mistake and then they'll oh, they'll turn around and then I need to go to prison? And I can understand, yeah, I get his point. Of course I get his point. You know, but who's holding the hunters to account? Nobody, that's who. And this is what happens. Troll groups like this start emerging. People with God complexes start behaving in ways in which disgust others. And you know, if you thought that that was a successful interview, then you're deluded as well as stupid, because that was a shit show. That was nothing else, right, but an absolute farce of a thing. And after doing that, I'm surprised it turned up on Facebook again, actually. Because I would have been embarrassed at that interview. I know. People with God. I don't have a God complex. I do it for personal reasons. But you know my reasons why I do it. And God help me if I ever make a mistake. Because I would throw my hands up to it. That's me. You know, but to it. So I can't. She can't even admit that she's been a member of Torture Chamber 2 and Torture Chamber 3. If she is a member of that, I don't know, but she probably is. Right up until the point, well, she was right up until the point when I started, blazing TC2 all over the place to show people what they were actually doing to others, you know? If you get right on the 24th of May, I think, that's when it was getting a bit too hot and a bit too spicy. She knows what's gone on there. That's why she ran from it, you know? So it ain't, it ain't no mystery to me why she darted out of that torture chamber too, because obviously, you know, they've been abusing other people's children in there. And then she can sit on the radio with a few, I don't know when this was actually, to be fair. But then, you know, she goes on pontificating, giving it the big I am on there. But then, on the other hand, probably during that time, she's been a member of one of those chambers, abusing other people's children. So, I mean, even if she got onto the right end of that interview, which she didn't, your position's lost with what your activities in these bullying groups. That's basically it. So any good work that you would have done, yeah,